Are you listening? This ain't no quiet thing. We're screaming out our lungs. Hey, are you listening? Hey, are you there? Hey, are you listening? Or do you just not care?
What's up, friends? Welcome to Hey, Are You Listening? This is a podcast exploring the past, present, and future of Christian music. My name is Joel, and I'm here with my good friend Brandon, and we connected over a mutual love of a few particular artists, but have pretty different tastes when it comes to things. And so together we get to experience some new things from time to time and introduce each other to some new things, and sometimes have some friends along for the ride. And so excited for the journey of that. Brandon, how's it going today?
It's going good. I'm enjoying a little bit of fall weather. It's nice. Joel, do you feel like you are a pumpkin or an apple kind of guy when it comes to the fall?
That's easy. I'm easily an apple person. Pumpkin is it's just kind of a no-go for me. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I love the apple pick. I like pumpkins. They're cool. I'll carve one, but I like toasted pumpkin seeds. But yeah, I'm not much of a pumpkin person. What about you?
I think it depends on the vehicle for that. I was about to say vegetable fruit. I don't know what a pumpkin is. I guess it's fruit.
It's a gourd.
I think if I'm drinking it, that's the toughest decision.
Okay.
Because I love apple cider, love pumpkin spice, like lattes. I think bread-wise, I'm going like pumpkin. Pie-wise, going pumpkin.
Wow.
But I think if it's cookie, I'm going probably maybe apple. So
you're a pumpkin pie over an apple pie guy.
I think apple pie is, if we were doing the ranker list this week, on my list, I think apple pie is. It's hard for me to think of a vegetable, a dessert I don't like less than apple pie.
It's very un-American of you, Brandon.
I decided to start this podcast just really really attacking everyone, attacking you, the listener. But no, I think I don't like apple pie, but like I said, like apple cookies, stuff like that. Like I love I really love when people just come up with different weird stuff and you get to try it. Like I am really pumped up. At home right now, we have this like ramen noodle cup, and they came out with two flavors for Thanksgiving. One is turkey feast, and the other is pumpkin pie. And I'm not gonna eat that whole thing, but I'm at least gonna take one bite of the pumpkin pie ramen noodle cup. So.
You're so adventurous in some ways, Brandon, and also in other ways, like one of the least adventurous people that I know. And so kudos to you, because I would not go anywhere close to that ramen, but that's okay. So today we are covering an album that is kind of an interesting album for us, because I don't think that it's one that maybe we both spent like a ton of time with, and maybe not even our favorite album by this artist, but we're going to be looking at the album Much Afraid by Jars of Clay. And so I'm looking forward to digging into that and to get your thoughts on that later as we get into it. But before we get too into that, what are some things that you've been listening to lately?
So actually, Jars of Clay is something I've been going through. Jesus Freak Hideout, they did a really cool piece going through their top 30 songs for Jars of Clay.
Yeah.
And I love lists like that. And I think Jesus Freak Hideout, they do such a good job that even if I don't agree with stuff, I see where they're coming from. So I never leave a Jesus Freak Hideout list being like frustrated. So I saw that list and it kind of made me want to go listen to a couple of newer ones, as well as some of the ones I love. I've shared with you before that for me, Jars of Clay, it starts with Good Monsters. So that's the one that I'm like, yep, this is when we begin. And everything else is kind of discovering, oh, they made music before that? Oh, okay, cool.
They made their most popular music before that? Oh, okay, cool.
So I love getting to go back and kind of rediscover, okay, who they were, because for some bands they'll change so much over time.
Yeah.
So the Jars of Clay I'm listening to might not be who they were at the beginning, or it might have been every album sounding the same. So it's exciting for me to get to go through and listen to all of the like pre 2005 albums.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Well, I wonder, do you know off the top of your head how many songs from the album Much Afraid were on that top 30 list?
I'm not sure. I could go back if you want to share what you've been listening to. I can go find out that information real fast.
That'd be interesting. Yeah, something I've been listening to lately. There's a band that I got introduced to by going to Furnace Fest one year, and I was listening to stuff ahead of time from artists that were going to be there. So the band's called Idle Threat, and they were one of my favorite live acts at Furnace Fest that year. So they have a record that's been out for a few years called Blurred Visions, and it's a little heavier than what I would normally listen to, especially at this stage in my life. But it's really good, and there's a couple of songs on there that I just really love that are super worshipful and just very very Jesus focused. And so it's some of my favorite like new Christian music, and so I got to talk to them and even pray with them. So they're really cool people, and just thankful that their music's out there. They're supposed to have a new record coming out. I feel like it's any day now. And so I'm really looking forward to that one and seeing if there's anything different out there in the world of Idle Threats. So yeah, that's been fun.
To answer your list, there's a few on here.
Okay.
So it starts with number 25, Overjoyed is on the list. Once again, this is the top 30 Jars of Clay songs according to the Jesus Freak Hideout staff. Number 21, we got Portrait of an Apology. Number 19, Much Afraid. Number 17, Tea and Sympathy. Number 10, we have Crazy Times. Number 9, Frail. And number 8, Fade to Gray. And that's it.
Okay.
So there's a good bit of them from this
there's a
album on
lot.
there. Yeah.
It's interesting. Some of my favorite songs from this album and some of my least favorite songs from this album on that list. So, that's cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into that. Well, Brandon, I have a game for you today. And so this game is called Guess the Collab. And so in honor of Jars of Clay and their frequent collaborations with other artists. Actually, I'm just making that up because I don't really know how often Jars of Clay collaborates with other artists. It doesn't seem like it's that often.
Yeah. But when they do, they do.
Right. So I'm going to give you a collaboration, and then I need you to tell me if it was a real collaboration that actually happened.
Okay.
Or if it's a fake collaboration.
I hope these are post 2005.
You're just going to have to do your best to guess on some of these. So we'll start off with some more popular artists.
Okay.
Maybe the kinds of artists that would have ended up on a ranker list at some point. So, all right. So here's one for you. Lauren Daigle and Chris Tomlin.
Oh, did they sing with Jars of Clay?
No.
Oh.
Just that they collaborated with each other. Lauren Daigle and Chris Tomlin. Did they actually collab? Is it real or is it fake?
That's such a... I'm going to go fake.
It's real.
Oh.
Christmas. I think the song Noel they collaborated together on.
I could see that going either way.
All right. Here's one for you. Same. Would have been on a ranker list. Casting Crowns and Mercy Me.
Oh, you would think that they would have had to have like partnered, but is it the bands or just the singers? I'm gonna go because I feel like the singers would have been on something
I
together.
think this happened. It's a fake collaboration. They're almost too similar
Yeah.
to like collaborate together on something. It's interesting. You probably know this one. This is a couple of worship artists today.
Oh yeah, that's definitely up my alley.
Phil Wickham and Brandon Lake.
I'll go yeah.
Yeah, totally. They've done a ton of collaborations together, I think. So, okay. Let's see. All right, it's getting into a little more of the edgy stuff. Reliant K and Owl City.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's one of my favorite songs. They did "That's My Jam" together.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
a
Cool.
really good song.
POD and Lecrae.
I'm gonna go no.
Nope, it's real.
Oh,
It's real. It's a remix. This goes out to you.
oh okay.
Okay. Need to Breathe and 21 Pilots.
I'm gonna go no on that one.
You're right. That one's fake.
That if you told me it was real, I was gonna be like, I have to go listen to this.
Thought you would have been interested in that one for sure. Third Day and Michael Tate.
Oh, they toured so much together. You know what? I'm gonna go no.
It's real.
I should have followed my
It
gut.
happened. It happened. All right. NF and Toby Mac.
Oh yeah, Until the Day I Die. Song they did together.
Oh. Well, my information says fake.
Oh, like NF the rapper, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
We're about to break the system.
I'm looking forward to hearing more. Okay, I'm going to give you one more
Okay.
to see if you know this one. Hillsong United and Justin Bieber.
I'll go yeah.
Yep. Yep. No, I think live, like Justin Bieber has
There you
guested.
go right there.
Okay, you're right. My information is wrong. The internet's not always correct.
I thought you were gonna go with So I got excited because one of my favorite Jars of Clay songs is a that features Leigh Nash from Sixpence None the Richer.
Yeah, it does.
I'm glad you know it. And so I got really excited at first, being like, "Oh, we get to talk about that song." But yeah, it's
Sorry.
off of Good Monsters.
Well, there you go. Sorry I didn't get there. That's okay. All right, well, let's transition and get into this album, Much Afraid. All right, so a little information on this record. Much Afraid is the second studio album by Christian rock band Jars of Clay. It was released in 1997 by Essential Records. Following the charting success of the band's debut album, Much Afraid was moderately successful, but was unable to achieve the level of its predecessor. The title is a reference to Hannah Hurnard's 1955 novel Hind's Feet on High Places, whose main character was named Much Afraid. Much Afraid earned the band a Grammy Award for Best Pop Contemporary Gospel Album. So with that, let's talk a little bit about Much Afraid. We kind of gave a little bit of our just kind of opening thoughts, but I'll just say, and then you can follow up with anything else maybe that you wanna say. For me, I started listening to Jars of Clay with their first record that came out, and so and loved it and was super into it. The band that I was in at the time, we covered stuff from it, and so when the second album came out, it was a different sound. They were using electric guitars for the first time. It really was like a step, a progression step for them in a lot of ways. But I think that a lot of fans were like clamoring for what they had in the first record. But the first record was like drum tracks, drum machines. The new one is like real drums, real instruments. And so there's a lot more like production wise happening on this record. And so I see this as a really important step for them as a band. But for whatever reason, it just didn't land as well for them as some of the earlier stuff did. But I think it's a good record. It's one of my favorite Jars of Clay records. Yeah. What, you have any other thoughts?
Yeah, I think Jars of Clay is a band. I think it helps when going into this, I'd listened a little bit of it, but not really sat down and really just like took in every song.
Yeah.
But it's nice to know the history and who the band is, because there's a lot of these older albums that it's during us discussing, it'll be asking you or a guest, what's the context of this album? Because it's not understanding that, like I'll go into an album thinking it's really deep tracks and half of them are silly, tracks. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is a bad album. This is like a 2 out of 5. But it was knowing, well, if I would have known the band was like that, then I appreciate, the sense of humor they have in between the stuff.
Right.
So to me, Jars of Clay has always been a band that is kind of trying to challenge themselves and do something different. And I know even for me, when I got into them during their later years, I remember they put out like a worship album, and I was like, oh, I don't like this. I want all the stuff I had. But it was the understanding as a fan now that I should appreciate that it's not them selling out and just making something to make money. It was that they felt, they felt like they needed to, inspired to put out this.
Right.
So yeah, I think going into this, I expected it to be different just because of what I've seen. But also the 90s was a weird place for music. So
It's fun exposing you to the 90s and letting you feel what is out there and why the 90s were necessary for the 2000s to exist.
I feel like sometimes the best way to describe my experience with music in the 90s is I'm like that person that I listen to DC Talk, Audio Adrenaline, and Newsboys. So I feel like I'm the kind of person that drives into Orlando but only goes to Disney, then comes home. And people are like, well, there's more stuff than just that. There's restaurants, there's other places. And I'm sitting there being like, this isn't Disney. It's like, this is Target, Brandon. This is a store. This is the beach, Brandon. There are no roller coasters. So yeah, sometimes you gotta experience or enjoy the weirdness.
And realize that there's a lot of weirdness in DC Talk, Audio Adrenaline, and the Newsboys in their early years.
Well, I don't listen to those albums. With those DC Talk fans, it's like, man, the 2 albums they did, how amazing. And there's like 3 other albums. Well, we're going to focus on these 2.
Yeah, there's some interesting stuff early on. I'm sure we'll get into it for all of those artists at some point. But yeah, when you're a band like the Newsboys and Steve Taylor wrote all your songs for a while, you know that those songs are going to be interesting.
Yes.
And a little eclectic and and silly. So, all right, well, let's get into a track-by-track conversation of Much Afraid. And so we'll kind of kick things off with the first track, Overjoyed. How do you feel like this worked as a first track?
I think my first impressions was, all right, what are we establishing? What path are we going down? But then having listened through the track, I was able to appreciate that, okay, we're building to this. Like, this starts off. And so I feel like as an opener, it did a good job of, I think it painted a picture of what the rest of the album was going to look like. There wasn't any sudden shifts, So I felt like it did a good job of kind of showing you what's to come.
Yeah, this is an interesting first track for me. I feel like it starts off pretty subtle, and then it feels just like a little like disconnected, disjointed.
Yeah.
And not super cohesive as a song until you kind of get into the chorus.
Yeah.
And things kind of come together. And so it's not my favorite. It's not anywhere close to one of my favorite tracks on the record. It is the first time we really hear a guitar solo out
Yeah.
of Jars of Clay, which is kind of a fun thing to experience. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of like, it's a song, and I guess that it says some things about what's coming because it is different from their early stuff.
Yeah. After our joy, we now fade to gray in our next track. How did you feel about Fade to Gray?
Yeah, so I'm much more into Fade to Gray than I was into Overjoyed. I like the like organ and the kind of drum machine thing that starts off at the beginning. It just it felt a lot unlike anything that Jars of Clay had ever done before. And so there's a lot of like layers of things that are happening. There's some orchestra happening. And then when you get into like the second chorus, it's weird because it actually, the second chorus feels like a song that would have been on the first Jars of Clay record, but getting there like was a totally different experience. And so it's like, hey guys, we're going to do something that's like really new and different, but by the way, we're still the same band.
Yeah.
So it's like, check us out. We're trying something new, but we're still here. It's still us.
Yeah.
We're still the same guys. And so I like this one a lot because I think that it does a lot of cool things. It's got a really like heavy breakdown on the bridge, which I thought was cool. And I love the vocals that are like at the end of the track. So yeah, I like this one a lot. It's a highlight for me.
I think it's interesting because I feel as though we're flip-flopped with them.
No.
That for me, I felt this song was kind of chaotic in a bad way. That I didn't like that it jumped around like it did. So for me, I felt as though, okay, can we go back to the first track? or maybe it was, honestly, maybe it's okay, this is the second track in a row that there's this shift in the middle, like of the song. And it's me thinking, okay, that's cool for that track, but it's like a guitar solo. If you have like Freebird or whatever, it's got that guitar solo that lasts forever. But if every song they did had like a 3-minute guitar solo, you'd be like, I don't like this band. Like that should be special.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think for me it was flip-flopped that I kind of felt the way I think you did about Overjoyed with it. So
Interesting. Yeah. They definitely, the guitar thing is interesting on here because it's like, hey, we've never done this before. And then next track, they're like, remember we never did this before. Now we're going to do it again. I feel like there's a lot of that, which I mean, it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's progression. So yeah, well, that's okay. We can agree to disagree on that. Not my favorite song on the record.
yeah,
But track 3 is one of my favorite songs
Yeah.
on the record. Tea and Sympathy. What do you think about that one?
I really like this. I felt like it's a song that translates like well during a concert.
Yeah.
And I think that it's something I think of a lot when I'm going through different albums and songs and such. I like too that it is. I feel as though I'm listening to the same song throughout. So it was. We finally got a song that was okay. There's no shift to where we have guitar, we're happy, but now we have this. I don't know, some kind of marching or something going on or whatever. There's nothing that's thrown in.
Brandon is anti-marching in music.
Yes, apple pie marching. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I love this song. I agree with you. It's very cohesive as a song. The whole thing works together really well, even though there is build and like a lot of the string work that comes in, like as the song progresses is great, but it's just building on what's already there versus like shifting. And I think that works really well. I get tons of like Beatles vibes from this song, and I love that. And even the line "We can work it out" is a stolen Beatles line that they use towards the end. And so, yeah, this song just makes me feel good and ready to tackle whatever I need to tackle. It's a really, really great song. So love it.
Sometimes I like whenever you go first because I'm able to piggyback off what you saying. So like just now when I went first, it's like it's a song that together it stays, for you're like cohesive. I'm like, yeah. So when I go second, I go yes. Let me steal that word, cohesive. Next we move to Crazy Times. What'd you think about it, Joel?
Well, it seems it's always the crazy times. When we wake up and realize. No, this is a good song. This is actually the first song I ever heard on this record. I think that I think I was watching the Dove Awards or something one year, and before this album came out, they played this live, and I was just like, "There's electric guitar in Jars of Clay. What's happening?" It just felt like this crazy moment, and yeah, I think that. It's a good song. I even think that they spent some time with like Sting and some other like secular artists. Like Sting hosted this thing and they went to it, songwriting thing. So I think they wrote some of this record like with him, interestingly enough. And so I think the song's part of what came out of that. It's got a really cool bridge that's very Beatlesque, and then a guitar solo that's mostly like playing the same note over and over and over again. But it works as a song, and I think like I said, the bridge is cool. I think they were hoping that this was going to be the song. Like, pretty sure it was the first single off the record.
Yeah.
I think they were hoping like, no, this is the song that everybody's going to know. This is Jars of Clay now.
Yeah.
But it's just not what people were looking for. And so I don't think it landed the way they wanted it to, but I still like it. It's a good song.
I remember whenever I hear singer Sting, so I grew up with wrestler Sting. So for the longest time, I thought that was the same person. And I used to think, man, that guy is that's so unique that he does all this wrestling, but also he's well known as a singer. And I just thought it was so weird. It wasn't until like later on that I was like, that's two different people. That's not him wrestling for the World Heavyweight Championship on Sunday, then Monday doing a concert in England or something.
Truth.
I love this track. I was trying to think of how to explain it because I listened to this and I thought Jars of Clay is at their best when they're doing this. And I think it's hard to describe this, but it made me think a lot of on Good Monsters. One thing that drew me into that album when I got it was that there's this I feel like aggressive isn't the right word, but there's this urgency or there's this in this face like they're annoyed.
Yeah.
And I think in this song there's a person that is frustrated. Maybe that's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
So it reminded me a lot of kind of what I felt like they did on Good Monsters. And I really love the bridge. Like it's really fun in it.
Yeah, I agree on the bridge. I think, like I said, I think it's a great song. I don't think it was what people were expecting. And so I don't think it landed the way they really wanted to. Track number 5 is Frail, which is very different from Crazy Times. What do you think about Frail?
I did not care for the long intro.
It is a very long intro.
I think for me, it makes sense if it's a separate track. Because on some of their older ones, there's ones that have a 2-minute intro.
Right.
And I think... I don't know. It'd be interesting to kind of know why they went with that because I think with this one, you're like a minute and a half into before you
that's what
hear
I've got in my
like the
notes,
first lyric. And I think for me as a lyric person, I think that if you have the interlude, then it's cool. So we can have the 3-minute track where the lyrics hit as soon as the track goes.
Right.
So for me, I find myself waiting around to be like, all right, when are we gonna get some words in this?
Yeah. How'd you feel about it when the words hit? When the song actually got into it?
I didn't. I feel like it was like a song. Like I didn't like it or dislike it. I think that just the minute and a half took away from really getting into it.
Yeah.
Like this is a track that I'm not going to add to my playlist. So there's other songs that I can listen to and eventually pick up more things. But with a track like this, it's hard to have it on repeat and picking up stuff.
Yeah.
And I think you probably do end up appreciating it more, but it's like a movie that's 3 hours long. You got to plan for that. You're not just going to turn on and be like, all right, here's a 3-hour movie.
Yeah, this one feels to me like if I'm watching a movie and there's a scene where somebody's upset about something that just happened and they're like walking away from a situation or driving away from a situation. Like
Yeah.
I imagine this song as like a soundtrack song.
Okay.
Because I feel like what's happening in the music. Actually, really, I like it. I think there's some really interesting guitar stuff going on. I'm with you that like this could have just been an instrumental. Even there's a part where there's like talking behind it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what leads me maybe to the soundtrack thing. But then I actually really like it when the vocals come in, and so it's not my favorite song on the record, but it's just different and interesting. And so I get though exactly what you're saying about why does it take so long to get into the lyrics? Or
Yeah.
could they have just like sectioned it off maybe? So I hear you.
Next up is 5 Candles.
Yeah. So the song's fine. I like the verse a lot. I feel like the chorus is just like a little lacking. It doesn't really do what I would want it to do for a Jars of Clay chorus, and so it's this is one of those songs that it's better than like it's there, but
Yeah.
it just doesn't really. It's not one of my favorite tracks on the record.
A little trivia to it is that it was originally made for the Jim Carrey movie Liar Liar.
Yeah.
And it wasn't in, I think it was supposed to be in the credits. I don't think it was in the credits, but it made it to the soundtrack. And so I just enjoy that little trivia where there's this random Jars of Clay and Jim Carrey connection from the 90s. For me, I'm the same way. I think it's a good song. I don't really think there's anything special happening with it. I think that think of it being in a movie, I could totally see this being, I guess how you said the previous track being this soundtrack. I can picture that happening in a movie where you have this sequence of the characters are going through whatever, or the credits hitting. Like, if I'm in a theater and I start hearing this play, I'm not going to mind it.
Yeah.
I'm also not going to jump up and be like, you guys hearing this? I thought the movie was great, but this, the credits.
Yeah, I get that. All right, track 7 is Weighed Down. What are your thoughts on Weighed Down?
I think lyrically I enjoyed it, but I think musically and vocally it maybe just like drags a little.
Yeah.
And I mean, maybe it's like the album kind of having this this like maybe back and forth of like speeding up and slowing down. And I think like you said earlier, with this being their second album, it's like they're still trying to figure out who they're going to be.
Yeah.
And still experimenting. And so it comes across as we're throwing a lot at the board to kind of see what
sticks.
I think maybe what the fans like, but also as a band, what do we enjoy playing?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, I think the lyrics are good. I like the bass guitar in the song. The vocals do this thing where they like pull back on the chorus, which is weird. That's kind of the opposite of what you would normally do.
yeah.
And so, yeah, for me, like this song's just kind of a filler track. It's not, it doesn't really stand out for me.
Yeah.
So,
Next up we have Portrait of an Apology.
so more filler for me on this one. I think the song's too long.
Yeah.
It just keeps going on, and when a song goes on and then but it's still not even doing much. That's just what I feel. There's banjo, and that's cool, but
Yeah.
man, I was just ready for this track to be over when we got to the end of it.
I could have just copied and pasted your thoughts on it because what I wrote down was, I feel like it's just a really long song, but I do like the random banjo in it. So I'm really kind of just copy and pasted that. And I don't know. So one thing I wonder with some of these is that I know that back in the day you're held to we cannot do more than 70 minutes or whatever that this
Right.
CD can hold. But when it came to contracts, I don't know if you would know this or speculating, but are there in certain contracts where it's like, hey, you have to give us 60 minutes of material, or you have to give us 13 songs per album, or
Yeah, I have no idea. It's possible, but I can't imagine honestly that a record label enjoys when a band takes a song on too long because they want singles, and
Yeah.
singles are like 2.5 minutes.
yeah,
And so I would imagine that they'd probably want more songs rather than like longer songs. But they want as many singles as they can get off of a record, and any song that just kind of drones on for a while or doesn't have vocals for a minute and a half, like there's no way that's going to be a single, right?
I feel like we need to have some kind of a higher up from a record label on here just to ask their perspective on stuff.
Yeah.
Because honestly, you hear the artist perspective on a lot of stuff. And I think a lot of times I see where they're coming from. But I know in the past too, there's been a few times where I thought, well, it sounds like the record label is being reasonable. I understand when you're in the moment, it's annoying. But I feel like that'd be a cool perspective. So for all the record execs that are listening to this right now,
Yes, Brandon Ebel, Frank Tate.
yeah, I know they're listening.
Come on the show. That'd be great.
Next up, we have Truce. What are your thoughts on Truce?
Truce. Truce is fine. It's interesting at least. It's trying to do some things. I feel like this is kind of what you were saying earlier, where they're just throwing some stuff at the wall to see what's gonna
Yeah.
work or stick. There's a big shift when the chorus hits. Yeah, it feels like the bridge reminds me a little bit of like the Crazy Time bridge. So I don't know. Yeah, it's an interesting song, but I feel like this section of this record, like I just struggle a little with.
Yeah.
Like, as we get into the second half of the album, it just feels a lot weaker to me than the first half.
What's interesting is that I was thinking that there's a lot of stuff we've reviewed that feels as though you have these two different sections. And there's a few stuff like I think that you know, at the top of my head, the Gable Price and Friends CD/EP we reviewed. I think it's something that it's kind of okay. You have this is the same thing. There's not a like slow side or whatever,
Right.
and so it's interesting with these that there's been a lot of them that I feel as though towards the second, like the end of it, I was really enjoying what was going on. Whereas this one, I agree, it feels as though the front is loaded with a lot of like newer stuff, and on the back end you're getting kind of a repeat of some stuff. And
Yeah.
I think that if you're someone like yourself that loved what they were doing, or someone like myself that loves what they're doing 10 years from now, you get to the point where you're like, okay, yeah, it was cool what you were doing, but we want you to do like
Yeah.
these other things.
There's a real thing to like the sophomore slump when it comes to bands putting out albums. And so I feel like this album is, it's not all a slump. Like there's
Yeah.
some really good songs on here. But there's also just a lot that like feels like we have to put out not an EP, but like a full length. And so
Yeah.
let's just write some songs and kind of get it done. And so I'm guessing that there probably was some pressure, like rushing them to get this thing
Yeah.
out. And they probably didn't have as much time to spend on writing these songs and recording these songs. That kind of leads to where you end up in a situation like that. So, all right, track 10 is the title track of the record, Much Afraid. What did you think about this one?
I liked it a lot. I think it's another song that live would be great. I think as far as the songs that were a little slower or maybe not as jumpy or energetic or whatever, I think this was the best one on here.
Yeah.
So it is a little bit of a, it's not getting me up and moving, but I think that it does kind of wake you up a little bit into, okay, I'm not done with this album like just yet.
Yeah, that there's definitely a step up that happens here on this one, and I think the lyrics are really good. It's just, yeah, it's a much better song in the vein of the last few songs, and so
Yeah.
I definitely like that. There's a little bit of a step up at this point.
We end with Him. What were your thoughts?
So I love this one personally, and I know again it's a pretty chill song, but it's got a different feel in the sense that it's like, I mean, it feels like a hymn, obviously, and so it feels directed in a different way than like a lot of these other songs previous. I think it's really beautiful. The melodies are great. The lyrics are wonderful. They really capture like what a hymn sounds like when they're writing this. I think the harmonies on the chorus are like really pretty and
Yeah.
beautiful and full. And so I this one and Tea and Sympathy are like wrestling for like my favorite songs on the
Yeah.
record. Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, I liked it. I feel like it wasn't to the level of like how much you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But I liked it, and I didn't find myself going with this. Okay, we've got this, then Much Afraid, then Back Down. I felt like it stayed on par with, okay, this was cool. I was wondering, do you think that it being an ending song, like, do you think it was a great way to end the album, or do you think it would have been better placed elsewhere? You put this in the middle of the album, do you think it helps, or?
It could have been, maybe. I actually think it's an okay ending song, but I don't feel like it was earned by the songs that came before it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like if the second half of the record was on par with the first half of the record, and you had your good energy and it was just just production wise, like the same feeling like the first half of the record, then when you got to this song, it would feel like a pretty like just shift towards simplicity, but also like big, beautiful vocals that I feel like it would have stood out more
Yeah.
if the record was a little more cohesive.
Yeah.
And so I think I'd probably leave it where it is, but I still wish that one little section was a little
Yeah.
better. Yeah, I don't know. Do you have any final thoughts on this one? Now that you've been able to spend time with the second Jars of Clay record?
Yeah, it's cool going back. I think this is the worst. This is the hardest part sometimes, is that you give a rating of an album and it can come across as either, oh, this was horrible, or this was whatever. And I think for me, it sometimes makes it more difficult, because if I never listened to any of Jars of Clay, I feel like it would get higher, but it almost gets penalized because I know that oh, these other albums are incredible. So I find myself listening through it going, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna stop this and go listen to the album I like. So you almost get penalized when I think it's like Star Wars. Like, people who've never watched Star Wars, you could show them any of the movies and they'd go, man, this was cool.
Be careful what you say right now.
Like, you could show them anything and they would go, man, that was cool what they did, you know? Or like, especially like, I think the first 6, if you showed them any of those, even like the prequel ones, they're going to go, man, this is cool what they're doing. But when you're someone who loves Star Wars, those are some of the people that they're like, I love the 3 that I love. So I remember people who love the original ones, they would watch 1, 2, and 3, and just be like, this is the worst stuff ever, blah, blah, blah. And then when Disney took over Star Wars, it became, well, George Lucas was amazing. These other ones are blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it becomes this like attack, but I think it's because it's hard for them to enjoy it because I'm used to Darth Vader, who is Jar Jar Binks.
You can't make Star Wars fans happy, just like you can't make Jars of
Jars of
Clay
Clay
fans happy. I'm just kidding. I don't know if that's the thing or not. No, that's good. So, for you, where would you rate this album 1 to 5?
Man, it's tough. I'll be honest. I think that I was thinking of 3, but I was thinking of other albums I've ranked it a 3 and would I put it there. Then I was thinking of like 2.5, and I'm thinking I think a 2.5 is good, but people think that you're giving it. So I think a 2.75 is where I land in the middle. Yeah.
All right. I think I'm going to go with a 3 on this for me. It's I enjoyed it a lot when it was released for the first time, and it was different, but it aside from a few songs that I probably listen to ongoing, most of this I don't go back to, and so it just kind of hangs out somewhere in there in the middle for me. I'm thankful that they took some risks and were trying some new things, because I think you have to do that as an artist.
I think that it was interesting to go and look at how many of these tracks landed on the Jesus Freak Hideout list.
Yeah.
And it did make me think that, okay, these things aren't connected with me, but for these people, they've been sitting with them for, 2.5 decades or whatever. So it was cool to look and see that appreciated on there. Because I will be honest, a lot of mine was like, well, there's not a lot of good monsters appearing on this one, but yeah, to me, it's just always exciting to go back and listen to something you've never listened to, whether it ends up being a diamond in the rough and is that 5-star, or even if it's something low. I think that I always give this disclaimer if I give anything under a 3. So if you were to go back over the past, 11, 12 episodes, you would see that anytime there's 3, all right, here's Brandon's 5-minute rant of like, hey, I gave it a low rating, but I don't hate it.
Right. You do feel like you need to apologize for your thoughts and your feelings.
Well, it's like I said beforehand. There's bands that I feel as though I never gave a chance because I had someone back in the day say, "Oh, your bands are terrible, but my band's cool."
Right.
So I think for me, I always like to be careful because I know I want to be careful because I know there's so much stuff I listen to that, like, if someone went through and listened to like a lot of Me Without You or Danielson stuff, they would sit there and be like, Brandon, you're seriously gonna rate my album a 2, but you're gonna give that a 4.5 or whatever. And so I feel like I need to cushion it that way when we inevitably do rank like a Danielson album or whatever. People don't just grab their pitchforks.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. What's the first Danielson album that we will cover on this show? Is it going to be Fetch the Compass Kids? Is it going to be Ships? I don't know. There's some good ones out there. Looking forward to that. All right, so let's talk about what our lyric of the week is.
It's time for the lyric of the It's time.
So our lyric of the week this week comes from one of Brandon's favorite songs on the album, Frail. Just kidding. Blessed are the shallow, depth they'll never find. Seems to be some comfort in rooms I try to hide. Exposed beyond the shadows, you take the cup from me. Your dirt removes my blindness. Your pain becomes my peace. It's pretty good writing. Yeah. It's cool. You should listen to the last half of that song.
I should go listen to it.
Just kidding. Well, this has been a cool jump back to look at Much Afraid by Jars of Clay. And I'm looking forward to eventually getting to hear some of the stuff that you're enjoying later, because for me, like, my Jars of Clay listening dropped off a lot after Much Afraid. And so the stuff that you're really into is stuff that
Yeah.
I haven't really even spent time with. I have a good friend named Kyle who Good Monsters is one of his favorite records. And so I'm excited to like spend some time with that stuff later. So it'll be fun to dig into it. And we thank you, of course, for joining us as well and just jumping into this journey with us. Please feel free to come and find us on social media, on Facebook, on X. We'd love it if you subscribe to the podcast, if you leave us a review. We would be super thankful. Anything that you want to share out there just to help spread the good, hey, are you listening word would be appreciated. But we're thankful for you guys and looking forward to hanging out again next week.
Hey, are you listening? This ain't no quiet thing. We're screaming out our lungs. Hey, are you listening?